Hey everyone, Kyle Dwyer here with Asset Heroes Studios on behalf of TNT Properties Real Estate. This is the TNT Properties Real Estate podcast. So in this episode, I wanted to go over investment opportunities for those of you who are either wanting to get into real estate or already have a portfolio established. I'm trying to help you grow your portfolio. I feel like that's my purpose in life, and that's something that I want to help you with. So there's so many different types of partnerships out there that I've mentioned in the past. But yes, I want to partner with you. So how do you do that, right? What if you don't have any money, or what if you don't have enough cash to purchase real estate, or what if you have a surplus of cash? Maybe you inherited it, or you've been saving your whole life and you're ready to go and do this. Regardless of your situation, I feel that I have something that I could present to you that would work well for you. So the most recent, I guess my most recent idea in terms of a partnership is this. So I would like to sell you a portion of real estate that I already own. So, and partner with you, right? So, and I'm going to tell you why that's why that's typically a better deal than buying something like off MLS or so, or through an owner or what have you. So the reason is, when you buy a piece of real estate, and this is one reason why so many investors fail. So when you buy a piece of real estate, there's a transition period. So what does that mean? Well, let's say that you buy, the transition period can be anything from it needs renovations, or it has bad tenants, or it's been poorly managed up until this point. Regardless of what the situation is, there's always something. There's always something that requires that hard reset, because how you manage it or how your property manager manages it is not going to be the same as what it is when you purchase it. So it's typically always a hard reset for the tenants. It's a hard reset for the property itself. Again, it could be renovations. It could just be anything. But that typically takes a year, sometimes two, to finally obtain that flow. That I like to say, get the property well seasoned, right? So meaning it just works. Everything's flowing like it should be. You're getting that cash flow. You're building that wealth. You're building that equity. The problems that you are experiencing is now significantly lower. So, there are other factors too that go into play. Over involvement of the investor, emotional attachment to the property, other things. But that's another video, another podcast. But getting the property well seasoned requires patience. So, and you experience the property experiences the exact same thing when you switch property management companies, right? So if you're not happy with the current manager, you already own it, but when you switch management companies, there's a transition period, because how the new management company manages is not going to be the same how the old management company was managing it, or how you are managing it. It's just not. It's not going to be the same. So there's that transition period. There's that, sometimes if it is poorly managed, that means the tenants are running the show, right? So that's, and which means tenants take advantage of that. And not all tenants do that. I'm not saying tenants are bad. I'm just saying that's statistically what it seems to happen. And, resetting that, disrupts that flow and gets tenants angry sometimes and wanting to leave. And there's just all these things that happen. So what if I could offer you something that avoids that, right? So my idea was this. So my wife and I, we have a sizable portfolio that we've been growing, many of which we've owned for, 3-5 years or more. And, that transition period is over. It's that season, that it's well seasoned. I think of a cast iron, you got to season it. The more you own it, the more you use it, and the more you work with it, the better it gets. And it's the same with real estate. So these properties that we own is well seasoned, and they flow. It works. And that transition period, that renovation, that hard reset with the tenants, the transferring from management. It's all done. So the offer that I have is to sell you a portion of that property, right? Or properties, depending on how much cash you have to put in. And the beauty of it is you're going to pay less than if you were just to purchase it up front, because you're only buying a portion, because you're going to be partnering with me, because we already have the systems in place and it's working. It's already flowing. It's already doing its job. You're just jumping in on the ship and immediately getting that benefit, right? So you partner with me, and you would pay, typically what we do is a 60-40 split, right? So I would maintain the 60%. You would have the 40% equity stake in this entity that we would create that would own the property. So we would refinance the property and transfer the deed into this new LLC that we co-own together. So your buy-in would be, we'll use the 60-40 example. So you would have 40%. Your buy-in would be 40% of the total value of the property minus 40% of the debt. Because remember, we're going to be refinancing it. We're not cashing out. We're not pulling equity out. We're just refinancing it. So the payment essentially should drop or stay, roughly stay the same depending on how much equity there is. But you would take on 40% of that debt as well. So 40% of the value minus 40% of the debt. And that is your buy-in. And that number typically is significantly lower than going out and buying a piece of property on your own. Now, I understand that you would only get 40%, but that gets your feet wet, right? You're avoiding that stress and that hassle of the transition period. And that's where investors fail so much. They lose the patience, because when they buy a piece of real estate, they think they should get that immediate return right away, right? And that's not necessarily how it works. Sometimes it does, but not always, and they don't understand that. So they buy this property, and there's that transition period, right? They're not only buying it, but they're changing management companies at the same time, right? Because it's been managed by this person, but they don't want that. They want it over here. So you're buying it. That's an even mega seasoning period. But, all these things happen. Like the tenants are desperate for maintenance, right? Or the property hasn't been maintained like it should have been. So there's a lot of things, right? Or the previous manager wasn't maintaining the property up to Texas property code. Or there's a million things it can be. But fixing all of those things, getting it to where it needs to be, is a hard transition sometimes. And the investor doesn't understand that a lot of the times, because they're like, what is happening? There's all these things happening, and but it has to happen. But oh gosh, this is not, they go one or two ways, right? After about a year, or sometimes a month, they go, this isn't working. This isn't, like, I can't have this. Like I'm gonna drown. Like I'm gonna, I'm over leveraging, or they think it's something else. Their initial reaction is, it's not the property, it's the manager, the management company. They're doing it. Or, oh, it's just bad tenants. Or, oh, I shouldn't have bought this property that's this distressed. That's their initial reaction to say this is happening. So they make a change, right? They change management companies, or they, kick the tenants out, or whatever. It's whatever it is they feel like is the issue. They change almost immediately, within the first 6 months. But then they slowly realize that it's not the manager, it's that transition period. But maybe they don't even realize that. They just think it's bad luck, or they think that it's just real estate isn't what people say it is, right? And that's not true, but they lose the patience. So then they finally resort to just, I'm selling, I'm getting rid of it, I'm done, because this isn't working. You've got to be patient. I've said it 100 times, with investments, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. This is a long-term wealth building tool. The cash flow will come if you just be patient, right? So it's, I can't, I tell investors this all the time, but sometimes they just can't see that, and that's okay. Sometimes investing is not for everyone, and that is what it is. But, I want to offer things to people that help eliminate that stress or that transition period, right? So if I can offer that, that's great, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I want to help you succeed. I truly do. So much so that I'm willing to sell a portion of my real estate that works, that I've proven, that I have data to back up, that works with you and partner with you. So, yeah, that's what I want to do. Some of you out there might ask, well, why? Why would you do that? Because that's my why. Because that's what drives me. I'm not losing ownership of the property. I'm not. This type of deal would be truly 100% passive for you. The one who's partnering, because we're still the boots on the ground. We're the ones doing the sweat equity, the labor, all the things that are involved to manage this and maintain it, right? So your job is to sit back and collect the check. Now you're still having to buy in, right? So, but that's, again, significantly less compared to buying real estate on your own. Now, if you've never invested before, this is a great opportunity to get your feet wet, right? See how it is, right? It might work. Maybe you do 1 to 10 properties like this, so it can enable you to start buying properties on your own, right? And experiencing that. It's just slower transition into real estate instead of a hard transition, having to do that seasoning of the property. So the seasoning of the property is what I feel like I have near perfected, right? Of course, we're always making changes and here and there, but the system is rock solid. It works. It really does. I always talk to investors who are either clients of ours or they're just not seeing it. They can't, no matter what it is I'm telling, they're not understanding. They're like, it just doesn't work. What you're saying doesn't work. But it does, right? Because I'm the proof, right? I have 40 plus properties that are working, right? So it works. And they may say, well, you have the management company, right? You're in it. I'm not, right? I'm not. I don't oversee my properties. I let them run themselves. I let my team run it. It works. The system works, so you just got to be patient. So I'm a very impatient man. My wife always gets on to me, but learning to be patient with this and everything else in life is also, has bared fruit, so to speak, right? The fruits of that patience does come, I promise. You just have to be patient. Now, cash flow is important, right? So, and I've said this before too, having 1, 2, 3, or even 5 properties, the cash flow is not going to be significant enough to, be a home run and be able to live off forever, right? So if you want cash flow, you've got to drastically increase your inventory, right? So this is a great way to start doing that. So I don't know. If you have questions, email me. My email's kyle@tnt-properties.com. I'm always here. I'm always willing to hear you out. If you have another idea, I'm up for it. I'm open to it. I'm not the end all be all, know it all. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to see new things and hear ideas. So email me, let me know. So, I think I'll end it there. Again, I look forward to working with you guys in the future and partnering with you. Super exciting time to be buying some real estate. All right, guys, until next time, thanks.